Hi, my name's Dulcie Hill, and today I want to talk about MS. You've been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Um, First of all, I will tell you I'm not a doctor, but I have years and years and years experience dealing with MS. And things are a little different. Um, they used to say don't exercise, and now they say exercise. Now, first of all, if I was diagnosed with MS right now, I'd go to my job and I would increase my disability insurance to 60%. I'd try to find insurance anywhere in case I got disabled. Then I would start considering the disease modifying medications out there. And that is really important because now only 30 to 60% of people who are on these disease modifying medications actually go into secondary chronic progressive. Before, when I was diagnosed, 80 to 100% of us ended up secondary chronic progressive. That's a secondary stage of the disease. Which I'm in. But I've had it for 34 years or whatever, so I can accept that. Now, all right, you've been diagnosed with relapsing remitting. You've got your doctor's and your medication, your doctor's email, your medication. Now, it's so important that you keep exercising. If you didn't exercise before, you're about to become a jock. I was heavy set and I didn't work out. I started walking. I started lifting weights. I started doing all these things that all of a sudden made me thinner, made it easier to walk, made me stronger, and I needed that because I was forced. MS put me in a wheelchair 3 times, and 3 times I had to fight like an athlete to get out of that wheelchair. You guys know, and you'll know as you have MS and you have these attacks there. It's so important that we rehab out of that. And it's hard. It's like for me, it was very difficult, but it's a necessary evil. It's kind of like climbing Mount Everest. How do you do that? You do it 1 foot at a time. Um, I used to play softball. I used to do a lot of active things, but I'll tell you, just walking sometimes is difficult. So that's what I would do, those things. And then I would get into a support group. MS Frontiers has a bunch of Facebook support groups. Look in your community, find a MS buddy that you can have lunch with every once in a while. Just one other person in your community that I've got a couple people in this community in MS Frontiers that are just I just love. I connected. I just love there, and they have the same stage of disease that I do. Now, all right, fast forward. You've got secondary chronic progressive. Now, you have there's two different types. There's active and there's inactive. Active MS, which is happens in relapsing remitting, um, is when your disease has flares. So you can have these flares, these attacks, these exacerbations, and you need Solumedrol. Now, when you have secondary chronic progressive, it's a secondary portion of the disease. The old attacks from relapsing remitting now recur again. You feel the same symptoms as you did before, and that's not real pleasant. But what do we have? We have medications. We have uh, orthotics. We have different things that we can adapt and will enable us to have a good life with that. Now, it's important if you have active MS and it's secondary progressive, or if it's active and it's relapsing remitting, be on a disease modifying medication. If you do not have active MS, that's primary progressive, that is secondary progressive. That is when you no longer have attacks anymore, but you just feel like you're getting worse. You don't want to get out of bed quite as often. There's medications that'll give you energy, that'll take away your pain. I know there's a lot of us who have pain. Uh, you can do that. And it's more critical now that we use it or lose it. Now we're like 90-year-olds in younger people's bodies, so we have to use it. We have to use it. There is one of my dear friends. She is primary progressive, and she was stuck in a wheelchair, and she used her walker or wheelchair, and all she did was stand, just stand, and hold that for progressively, like one count all the way up to 10 counts, and now she can transfer from her chair to her bed, or and so these things can be done. We have to do that. We have to, I say, get into spirituality, know who you are, and pray. And I'll tell you, it just, so that's what I would do. Get in this group. I would develop my talents. Um, I would take medications. I know a lot of you are going to thumbs down on that, but the research is there. If you take medications, then you've got the best chance of not progressing. Um, and work out. I go to the gym 3 times a week. I sometimes I have to take my mobility scooter, and then I do different exercises, weightlifting exercises. Then I swim. Half a mile 3 times a week. Now, many of you know I broke my leg, and that set me back because I can't do lunges or squats. So I'm looking at having that leg be rebuilt by an orthopedic surgeon, so I can do squats and lunges, and I can use my legs. Anyway, please subscribe. Um, and if you have any questions, let me know. And again, God bless you. Go to msfrontiers.org and keep coming back. Thank you.